rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was taught with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawn. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, outcasted like hey ya.
Yo, party people, what's good? What's good? Let me get this camera right. All right, there we are. What's good, party people in the place to be? Welcome to the premiere Knicks in the Nighttime show, the Knicks at Night podcast. I'm Uncle Freezy, the #1 chief rocker in Knicks universe. Welcome. If this is your first time here, salute, man. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, come on a journey with us and enjoy the ride. Andios is in the building. Salute. So we got a few people coming through to rock into the night with us. B-Baller for real, what's good, man? Hey, B-Ball, hey, yo, so I have this thing, right? I have this thing going on, right? I have a conflict, right? I have a conflict going on, right? So my conflict is I'm frustrated that we lose to bad teams. And at the same time, I have a conflict that we lose to good teams. So I'm conflicted. Right? So I'm conflicted. Losing is losing, but at the same time, I'm trying to figure out, like, where is the limit? DSJ is in the building. Hey, DSJ. I was talking to Ron like a couple of hours ago. A song from Shanice. Yeah, hey, I was talking to AD about George Foreman also, bro. Golly, the culture keep taking body shots, bro. Damn. I ain't gonna lie, the George Foreman thing, it hurt. You know what I'm saying? The George Foreman thing kind of hurts. Right. And so as somebody that actually got in the ring and got beat in the face by big, strong men, I respect George Foreman. As somebody who got in the ring, you know what I'm saying, who know what it's not know what it's like, but kind of that did the same things. You know what I'm saying? Man, I was a little boy when that man became champ. Right? Man. Yo, Ali is gone. Frazier is gone. Foreman is gone. A lot of guys from that era are gone, but the memory of them will live on, right? And if we're blessed enough, to remember the impact they had on our lives, that means we are still breathing fresh air. And so that in its own right is a blessing. Trini, what's good? DSJ, you working tonight? You working a full shift tonight, bro? You getting off at 7? So he working the week at 7 to 7. I see you. Get that money, bro. Get that money. Yeah, man, get that money. One of these weekends, man, I got to link up with you because I got the shirt and I want to give you something for True Music. I need to give you something for True Music, man. So, yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, on the point about the Knicks, secondly, let me say again, salute to everybody watching us on YouTube. Salute to everybody watching us on X. And so I want to say a few things. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I'm not even going to get in my feelings, right? I'm going to do is just keep it a stack. So I'm in a weird place, right? So I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated that we lose to good teams. I'm frustrated that the Knicks lose to bad teams. Right? So I'm frustrated that the Knicks are losing to good teams. I'm frustrated that the Knicks are losing to bad teams. But what I'm really more frustrated in is I think there are chinks in the armor. But I think the chinks of the armor are not coming from a new thing. I think there has been a thing bubbling under the surface, and now it's at a point where it's like, why don't the Knicks just say the obvious thing? Why don't we just say the obvious thing, man? Right? Why don't we just say the obvious thing? Like, we're legitimately trying to figure this thing out. Right? Let's just say it. The Knicks are trying to figure this thing out. We don't have the immediate answer, but we're searching for the answer. Instead of like constantly saying, and instead of constantly feeding fans bullshit like, hey man, we got to impose our will. It's us against the world. It's now or never, and all this shit, man. Why? Why don't we just say, hey man, we're flawed, and there are a bunch of things that we probably have to work out. Jerry Fitz is in the building. Salute. So I have a I was about to get on the Martin Luther King thing. I have a dream that one day. So my belief is that despite archaic coaching and inflexible defense, I think the players can take this team to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think if Mitchell Robinson gets healthy and can be dependable, right now he's not either. I think if Landry Shamet can Yeah. I think there is a pathway where the Knicks can get to the Eastern Conference Finals. There's a pathway. I think the Knicks can get there. Right? But the thing is, as Knicks fans, we have to kind of address the negative stuff. I think we have to address the negative things. Salute to Adam. What's good, man? Virtuoso in the building. I think we have to address the negative things and not tuck them under the rug. I think we have to address them. The most obvious thing of everything is if Jalen Brunson is not coming back for the next 13 games, then that means he'll be rusty for the playoffs. That means he'll be rusty for the playoffs. That should be something that we should probably think about as Knicks fans. If Brunson legitimately is coming back for the playoffs, that means he's going to be rusty in our first playoff series. Now, can we win that first playoff series without Jalen Brunson? You saw what we looked like against Charlotte. Y'all saw what we looked like against San Antonio. The intellect is in the building. Salute. Hey, G, I got a question to ask you, bro. Just whenever you get a chance. I'm thinking about buying some new irons. As a matter of fact, I'll show you the irons. I'll show you the irons that I'm thinking about getting. Oh, the NBA. Oh, my. I can't get the. I love these, though, GI. I ain't gonna lie. I love these, bro. I'm not getting them. But these, I love these. I ain't even gonna front. I'm gonna put them on the screen for my guy GI. I'm not getting these, but I love these, bro. GI, here they are. I'm gonna show GI what I'm talking about, everybody. GI, I ain't gonna front. I've always wanted a set of these, bro. I've always wanted a set of these. Can you see them? Hey, Gangstar A, what's good? Salute. Yeah, fire tips, then we talk. Right. No, fire tips, then we smoke a cigarette, then we talk. Right. Yeah. Hey, Fitz, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I think there is a from the basketball aspect of things, teams that are talented like the Pacers, the Bucks, the Knicks, the Celtics, the Cavs, they all have enough talent to get hot and knock somebody off. Right? Fitz, I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's really ambitious. That's really ambitious, bro. That's really ambitious. And so GI sees the MP20s and thinking, Mizuno's, yeah, them other Strixons, bro. It's, I mean, what? GI, what are you using the Titleist blades? That's what you use? Shout out to my guy GI. Yeah, GI, I hadn't played golf in years because of the injuries and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Just Cause is in the building. Now, though, just the Mizuno iron. See, I'm not talking about the Mizuno woods or hybrids or anything else. Strixon, anything else. So let me talk about the inroad. And this is going to ruffle some feathers, but I'm telling you, I'm not saying that I know everything, but I do know a lot, right? And when I say I know a lot, I'm not saying that I'm a genius. It's just experience. Jerry Fitz will tell you, like once you get to a certain place, you know a lot, not because you're smarter than everyone, but because you experience more than a lot of people. Fitz, is that not Fitz? Is that not true? GI, is that not true? Like you could be smart, but the longer you live, the more you experience, basically. And so what I'm gonna say is I think the key to the Knicks' success is Mikal Bridges being a playmaker on offense. And then the second key, key number 2, is Mitchell Robinson contributing on a nightly basis. If we get those, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna put, let me put something on the screen here. GI said he's playing with TaylorMade blades, so you already know. You already know what GI's scores look like if he's playing with TaylorMade blades. I'm just gonna put it on the screen. Y'all bear with me, and I want you guys to participate too. I want y'all to participate, but don't disrespect our guy like with nonsense, right? I want y'all to participate with the thoughts here, right? But keep in mind, these are my keys, and if you have keys to this, let me know in the chat. All right, so let me do this. I gotta separate these things by color so that I'm gonna separate some things by color. Put some things here so we can follow along in the conversation. Ooh. I'm gonna put some talking points up here for us. And put this here. I probably should have did this pre-show, but I didn't know I was going to go down this path. Right? I didn't know I was going to go down this path, but Jerry Fitz made me do it. All right. All right. So I'm going to share this on the screen, everybody. All right. So I'm going to put this on the screen. Share this with everyone. Right. So I'm sorry about the way this looks. If it doesn't look fantastic, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants, y'all, with this. Let me do put this here. All right. Spread this over here a little bit. And spread this over here a little bit. And then spread this over here a little bit. And so my number one key to the Knicks winning a championship, right? My number one key to the Knicks winning a championship is Mikal Bridges. Playmaking on offense. All right. The pros to this is a balanced guard attack. The negative to it is finding another POA defender. Maybe too late in the season. It may be too late in the season, but we have to at least try it. Right? All right. One other key I'm just going to put here. Mitch has to be a difference maker. And I mean, what I mean is not just a difference maker. I mean, consistent difference maker. Now, with that said, the pros to this is rim protection and rebounding. The negative is injury risk and impact on the offense. There are some others, but I want you guys to look at this and tell me what y'all think. Right? B-Baller for Real says, I already disagree. Give me a real playmaker, a point. B-Baller for Real, where you going to find that guy? Where you going to find this guy in March? B-Baller for Real, where you going to find that guy in March? I'm going to wait right here. B-Baller for Real is my guy, y'all. B-Baller for Real, where you going to find that guy on March 22nd? Oh, get out of here. Man, get out of here, bro. Yeah. Man, get out of here. Get out. Dog. Okay. B-Baller for dog. Can I call you dog? I just want to call you my brother. B-Baller for, can I call you my brother, bro? Can we legitimately speak to each other like we from the same litter? Right? No, we can't do this right here. No, we can't. No, we can't. No, we can't. bro, we don't have a remote control for time. We can't rewind it back. We're talking about the current thing. I want to know if I can speak to B-Baller for real as if we're from the same litter. Like we're pups from the same litter, right? That's what I want to know. B-Baller for real has been around forever, right? B-Baller for real has been around forever, heavily respected in this Knicks community, right? And what I want to know is, can I speak to B-Baller for real as if we are brothers? That's all I want to know. Chat, can I talk to B-Baller for real as if we brothers? Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, brothers. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bro, the reason why it's important for Mikal Bridges to become the playmaker on offense is because you don't have to adjust many things in your rotation. Right? If Tyler, say, for instance, Mikal Bridges twists an ankle and we insert Tyler Kolek, you had to adjust everything you do now for lineups that include Jalen Brunson and Tyler Kolek. Jerry Fitz, here's the thing. Towns like a defense, he's horrible. No, that's not true. That's a runaway narrative. I think Knicks content creators tell y'all some stuff and y'all just run away with it. The analytics don't support that. The analytics support Karl Anthony Towns being a terrible defender at the rim. That's what the analytics support. Right? The analytics support Karl Anthony Towns being terrible at the rim. Right? But the analytics also support Karl Anthony Towns being good away from the rim. And there's a difference. You can't say somebody's a terrible defender if they're terrible at one spot on the floor, but they thrive in other places on the floor. That's not fair. That's not fair. I would expect a reasonable person to understand the difference between being bad at no, come on, dog, don't do that. See, now you're gonna make me stop doing this right here and pull up the numbers. And I don't want to argue. Oh, I don't want it to get awkward. I don't want it to get awkward, man. Like putting the thing up there just to squash a runaway narrative. Karl Anthony Towns is not a bad defender all over the floor. He's terrible at the rim, but he's the second worst big at the rim in the NBA. You know who's the worst defender at the rim? Jokic. Nikola Jokic is the worst defender at the rim. And Jokic is on the path to be a top 20 NBA player of all time, and he's already won a championship. Hey, my elementary school teacher told me that back in the 70s, bro. Jerry Fitz, she must be old. Jerry Fitz must be old as dirt. I say that with love too, by the way. I say that with love, man. I say that with love, like no malice at all. Jerry Fitz must be old as dirt. I heard that back in the 70s, bro. Yeah. Hey, Mr. Dunris is in the building. Hey, salute. So here's the thing, right? If you rather have Cat as a power forward and Mitch at center, that's not the same thing as saying that Karl Anthony Towns is a terrible defender, right? That's not saying the same thing, right? That's just weighing your option. If you rather have Mitch at center and Cat at power forward, that's your preference, right? But perpetuating a narrative that's not true is not right. It's not fair, right? Because if I said the same thing for Jalen Brunson, y'all would argue me down every night. If I told y'all that Jalen Brunson's a terrible defender and I would rather have a defensive guard with him, right, to play next to him, I'd rather have a defensive point guard and move Jalen Brunson to the 2. What y'all would say every night is that I have an axe to grind against Jalen Brunson when I don't. Right? If I told y'all that Jalen Brunson was a terrible point of attack defender, right, and his skill set goes more in line with a guy that just should shoot the ball 24 times a game, and his defense away from the ball is better than it is on the ball, y'all would think I have an axe to grind with Jalen Brunson, but I don't. Fritz Alcindor is in the building. Salute.
Hey, what's up, Uncle Freezy?
Bro, I saw your show earlier, bro. You trying to get the Knicks to bring you to court, bro? That's what it is.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Did you spare it? Did you spare any rounds after that, or did you just spray up the block? I think you sprayed up the block, bro, to be honest.
Oh, man. You know, we had a conversation yesterday. I was like, yo, you know what? I'm just going to put it out there. You know what I mean? Let's go put it out there.
Okay. So basically what I was talking about is the keys to the Knicks winning the championship, and I'm putting the pros and the cons next to the moves that I make, right? The first thing I'd like to do is have Mikal Bridges be a primary playmaker on offense. Now, when I say primary, I'm not saying take the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands, right? But here's the thing. Did y'all know that Jalen Brunson leads the NBA in time of possession?
Yes.
Jalen Brunson has the basketball. Think about this, everybody, when I tell you. Jalen Brunson has the ball 9 seconds out of every Knicks 24-second shot clock. Think about that, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's Jalen Brunson has the ball 3/8 of every 24-second Knicks shot clock. Jalen Brunson has the ball 3/8 of every shot clock.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Right. And so I'm not knocking Jalen Brunson's effectiveness. What I'm knocking is other players can't get in rhythm if they barely touch it. Right? And so what if Jalen Brunson had the ball in his hands 7 seconds out of every 24-second shot clock?
He would
right?
still lead the league, but
He would still, he would still lead the. He would still. He'd barely beat out Trae Young, right? He'd barely beat out Trae Young. I think Trae Young was the guy in second, right? I think he barely beat out Trae Young, but over the course of a game or a week or a month, guys will get more touches and can get into a better rhythm. Right? And so I'm not saying that Jalen Brunson is a bad player. Now, that's not what I mean. Right? That's not what I mean. It's just, how can you get into a rhythm when you're constantly waiting on Jalen Brunson to get you the ball? And how can you say you run a 5-out offense with one person dominating the basketball? In a 5-out, the ball is supposed to be constantly hopping. That's why you have 5 out there handling the ball. Yeah. Hey, our guy Jerry Fitz wants to argue tonight about Cat, bro. I think Jerry Fitz came in to pick a fight. Yo, would somebody in the chat please fight Jerry Fitz on Karl Anthony Towns defense? Can somebody in the chat just step up and just fight? I'm joking with Jerry Fitz, right? So the keys to winning the championship, in my opinion, is Mikal Bridges becoming a playmaker on offense. Now, what that does is it takes him off of point of attack defense, right? So, Fritz, if Mikal Bridges is no longer your point of attack defender, then who becomes? yeah. So who becomes your point of attack defender?
Probably Josh.
Probably Josh, right?
Probably Josh.
Yeah. Hey, and so B-Baller for real said, about this, you don't have a time. No, this is not what I'm saying. No, hey, B-Baller for, think about what I'm saying to you. I'm saying right now, from this moment forward, right now, Jalen Brunson's still out due to injury. All this stuff I'm saying is implement right now, going forward into the playoffs. Just think about this stuff today. Like when we play the Washington Wizards tonight, right? Deuce McBride and Mikal Bridges should be your primary playmakers, with Cameron Payne being your secondary playmaker and Josh Hart being a tertiary playmaker in certain opportunities. Right? Let Deuce be the primary guy if you want, but Mikal Bridges, anytime you need baskets, it's got to be Mikal Bridges with Deuce McBride looking to spot up from 3 somewhere, being a relocation shooter, right? And how this makes sense and why this makes sense, right? Think about this. Think about what happens when you see Deuce try to play make, and think about Mikal Bridges from 3, right? And then think about Mikal Bridges playmaking and Deuce McBride's shooting from 3, and why that makes sense. We all know that Bridges is a better playmaker than Deuce McBride, and a better scorer, more proven scorer and playmaker. And we also all know that Deuce McBride is a better 3-point shooter than Mikal Bridges. And we all know that Deuce probably gets more into a rhythm when others set Deuce McBride up in his offense than he does if he's got to create his own offense and set up others. If that makes sense. The second thing is, I know y'all love Mitch. Man, I like Mitch, right? I like Mitch. But you know what? All of this Mitch love, it's time out for Mitch getting love, and time for that man to be playing and being consistent every night. Because I ain't want to hear it, bro. I don't want to hear it. Fritz, I don't want to hear about, man, Tibbs only played him 12 minutes. Man, Mitch can't play on a back-to-back. I don't want to hear it, bro. Y'all go to bat for this man all the time, and every time we ask that man to step his game up, either he's out due to injury or he's ineffective. And all I'm asking is for a level of consistency when we need levels of consistency from everyone. The standard should not be, oh, well, when Mitch does such and such. Nah. If Cat had to be consistent, if OG had to be consistent, if Bridges had to be consistent, if Deuce had to, bro, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We can't have a second set of rules, right? We can't have a second set of rules for Mitchell Robinson, bro. It's nonsense. It's time out for the kid glove, the bubble wrap for Mitchell Robinson. Get your ass out there and play and be consistent. It's time out for that, bro.
Yeah. Only 13 games to go.
Yeah. Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing, bro? We can't have a clear double standard for somebody that's not an all NBA player, right? That's not. And Mitchell Robinson has never been, and in my mind, never will be an all NBA anything. But is he a good player and a great scheme fit for us? Absolutely. I ain't mad at Mitch. I just want Mitch to get on the floor, stay on the floor, be consistent, do the things that you do well so that we can reap the rewards of it as a team. I think that's fair. So Jerry Fitz says the Knicks still have 4 back-to-backs left in these 13. And so if Mitchell Robinson ain't playing in these back-to-back games, bro, I don't want to hear his name, bro. Fitchy says Mitch is an all NBA offensive rebounder. Where is it at on his resume? You are what your resume says you are.
Mitch has never had double-digit anything in average. Never had double-digit rebounds. Never had double digits in points.
Yeah. He's never led the league in blocks on average. Mitchell Robinson has never led. There's nothing on his resume to say that we should be giving him this much leeway. Is he a good player? Yes. Is he a great fit for us? Absolutely.
Now,
but we see it in such intermittent stretches that, in fairness to Mitch, you know what? Not in fairness, life ain't fair, bro. I buy one lottery ticket every week, and I ain't won yet. Is that fair? Life ain't fair. Here's the other thing. Here's the other key to a championship, right? And I know this is going to sound like I'm picking on, but I'm not. I think if this clicks, then, excuse me, we can beat anyone. If we get this, bro, I promise you, if Josh Hart shoots threes, say for instance, if Josh Hart takes 6 threes per game, all of a sudden the Knicks offense with Precious Achiuwa, with Cameron Payne, with Landry Shamet, with Cat, all those guys, it makes the Knicks offense Teflon, right? Because I don't know if there's a real difference between OG Anunoby shooting threes and Josh Hart shooting threes. I know the difference is the percentages. I think OG is probably shoots at a higher clip, but I think the impact on your offense is bananas. Just the mere fact that Josh Hart can help spread the floor. Yep. Yep. What are you thinking, Fritz?
No, it's something we've been saying all year. We've been saying that last year and this year.
Hey, you remember the Miami series when Josh Hart wouldn't shoot threes? You remember the Miami series where Jalen Brunson turned the ball over because he didn't want to pass it to Josh because Josh wouldn't shoot? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Jay Singh in the building, salute. And Quentin Grimes shot that UFO out the Quentin Grimes. Quentin, we were down by 4 with 10 seconds. Yo. Bro, I dislike Quentin Grimes so much, bro. I promise you. I dislike Quentin Grimes more than Knicks fans dislike Charles Smith. And Fritz, I know you don't remember Charles Smith, bro, but
Not all too well. All too well.
Okay, so you remember? Oh yeah,
All
yeah,
too well.
yeah.
I remember I'm from Connecticut, so he lives right there in Bridgeport.
Charles Smith. I like Charles Smith too, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I never had a beef with him, but yeah. Yeah, man. I like big wing players too, by the way. One of the things that I think also we have to have in order for I think we have to have this. I think we absolutely have to have it, y'all. Karl Anthony Towns has to rebound at an elite clip.
How he rebounded earlier in the season?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Listen, I agree with this too. I agree with this so much. I think you read my mind on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Josh Hart sticks to his man because he values rebounding too much. I think the stat pad is real.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I legitimately think the stat pad is real with this. I think we traded one guy, and you know how much I love Randall, right? But we traded one guy that rebounded, that wouldn't cover the corner three, and replaced him with another guy that wants to rebound and not cover the corner three. The only difference is Knicks fans all the fan base didn't love Randall like they should have. So they got on him bad. But with Josh Hart, they love Josh Hart so much that they don't even talk about any of the negative things that he'll do. But it's love. What's love got to do with it? Yeah, I remember that. Right? No, nobody remember that? Okay. Chat, what do y'all think about that? Yeah, Jerry, you remember that? What's love got to do with it? Yeah. And B-Baller for real says, is Josh stat padding or is he making up for Cat who is being drafted? No. What I'm saying by that is, what I'm saying about the stat pad is, I'm not saying that Josh Hart is a undisciplined player. What I'm saying is Josh Hart has a preference, right? His preference is he'd rather a guy take a three in the corner and get ready for rebounding position so that he can push it if he gets it. And he weighs that versus if that guy's going to make that shot or not. Right? And if you think a guy is going to only make it at an elite level 40% of the time, that means 60% of the time there's a rebound. Keith Turner's in the building. Salute. Salute my guy, Keith Turner. Yo, I ain't gonna front. Yo, so it's 2025, right? So about 3 years ago, I see I'm up here rocking, number one chief rocker, doing the thing I'm supposed to do. And I see 4 fights going on in the chat, right? I'm looking, the mods is like, yo, man, this dude Keith Turner. And so I look in the chat and it's like, Fritz, there are 4 fights going on in the chat, right? And I look and Keith Turner is in the middle of 3 of them. Right? And I'm like, yo, I like this guy right here, right? I like this guy right here. And so what I started doing was like they were trying to jump Keith Turner in the chat. So every time like he'll put a comment, I'll be like, and they'll be like, yo, if you see what I mean? And I'm like, nah, man, I like it, bro. And the only time me and Keith Turner actually had a beef, I ain't gonna lie, the only time me and Keith Turner actually had a beef, right? And I'm not talking about long-standing beef, I'm just talking about disagreed on a topic, was just one day randomly, he was like, well, maybe I should, and I had a beef. I was like, nah, bro. I was like, nah, bro, you got to stand your ground, voice your opinion every time you hear, right? Every time you hear, bro. If you want to beef with me, be something other than your normal self, bro. That's my beef, right? My beef with if you like want to put a rock in my shoe, be something other than your normal self, right? Because I'm a straight shooter and I'm gonna be myself, right? Y'all know it, right? Yo, Allah Wise is in the building. That's my only my one true beef. I can get over stuff, like I can live with stuff. But the one thing I want everybody here to do is be true to yourself. If we talk about a topic and we disagree, y'all know it ain't nothing personal. It's the topic that we disagree. It's not like I'm being hateful. It's just if we disagree on a topic, we disagree on a topic. So what? Fritz, I ain't gonna like me and my son were standing on the corner across from you know how in Orlando where they have the overpass right in front of the arena, and there's like you walk underneath the overpass, and it's like they got the nasty, filthy yellow lights out there. You walk in and whatever, and we were out there arguing. My son's like, Pops, you arguing with like 100 people over Quentin Grimes, and I'm cussing. The motherfucker is garbage. It's like 100 people, but we won, though, Uncle Freezy. Get him out of here. Yo, Fritz, I was like, get him out of here. And and we get back to, I forget where we get dinner from, but like 7 or 8 of the people that we was arguing, it was like 100, bro. When I say 100 people, think about people leaving the game, right? Think about people leaving the game. They leaving out all the exits or whatever. And, you know what I'm saying? You waiting at the light to cross the street. You know how the cops are in the street directing traffic, all that. Yep. So it's like 100 of the, it's like, ooh, I think Call Mega was there. Mega NY, y'all know Mega NYC?
I know the name.
Yeah, he was in your chat one time. I saw him in the chat. I mean, I saw him in your chat one time. But he was there. I met him in Orlando, him and his girlfriend. His girlfriend was like, yo, we the biggest fans ever. So Fritz, no lie. She was like, yo, he loved you so much that every time you two come on, he stopped what he doing and hit the chat. I'm like, every time? She's like, yep, every time. It's like the Knicks is all he talk about. And I'm like, dang, I wonder how many people are like that. And then I realized, shit, I'm like that. Right? Like NBA Economy show will come on and I'll walk off the back porch and come in and sit in front of the TV and just watch it. And Mo will be like, yo, what you doing? I'm like, hey man, Fritz is on. And it's like not even like it's not like a thing. It's not like a thing. Like it's not like it's not like an obsession. It's more like just a habit.
Yeah. I do too. I see someone's on live. I see somebody live. I just go in, just try to support.
Yeah, man. IKBM Dre is in the building somewhere, probably supporting Josh Hart. Fritz, are you a Jets fan also?
No, I don't really watch football anymore.
Because the Jets are that bad?
No, you know what? I was never a New York fan.
Oh, well, yeah, me either. I never liked the Jets either. It's just something about the Jets. They just suck, bro. They just, the thing with Keith Turner, I saw Keith Turner in the chat. fighting with like, there was like, no lie, it was like 120 something people in the chat, right? Before YouTube started getting wild with the algorithm. It was like 120 people in the chat. That used to be like every day. And every day I used to watch Keith Turner would be in the chat fighting like in 4 separate fights, right? And I was like, yo, you know what? Let me shout him out. There was like somebody, I can't remember. I think it might have been, y'all remember a dude, y'all remember Paris Duggar? Y'all remember him?
Yep. Yep.
I think him and somebody were arguing. I don't know. Him and somebody like was like, and it's like Keith Turner. And I was like, and I just shouted Keith Turner out like, yo, guess who here? Turner, you remember that? You remember that? I was like, yo, I like this guy, man. I don't even know Keith Turner like that. We know each other from here. And so I was like, yeah, that's my guy right there. Yo, it's like we're all fans, bro. Like we all fans have our own opinions, right? Fritz, key to a championship. Tom Thibodeau aside, front office moves aside, for the rest of the season, what are we doing to get closer to a championship?
I know intangible, a lot of intangible stuff. High energy. Yeah. Yeah. Right now, I mean, you know, I'm not great on the X and O's, but our energy looks off. We don't look energetic. We don't look like we alive out there right now. We do need to shoot more threes, so
yeah,
not just Josh, but in quality threes. We don't shoot like a lot of. We don't shoot like bad threes. We just don't. We don't make it a focus of getting open and shooting.
Yeah.
Shooting threes.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think incorporating Precious Achiuwa is a must-have. On this list, right? If I had to take 3, if I had to absolutely take 3 of the things on this list, right? Josh shooting threes is 1, right? Incorporating Precious is 2, and Bridges playmaking on offense would be the 3rd. I think we absolutely have to incorporate Precious Achiuwa into this thing going forward. Precious Achiuwa has to feel like he's a Knick.
You mean like running plays, or
no?
Have him just cutting more?
Come on, Fritz, don't do that. Running plays for Precious, bro.
No, that's what I'm asking. Is like, is you just asking for Precious to cut more?
No.
Be more active. Be ready.
No. What I'm saying is Precious has to have a consistent role on a nightly basis when he can prepare himself mentally to play. It can't be a, hey, Precious, you playing 13 minutes tonight, and then the next night you playing 2. And you got to communicate with these guys. Right? Precious had, see, because think about it. If Tom Thibodeau is playing a 9-man rotation, right? Then Precious is the 10th man.
Yeah. He was playing better when he was getting earlier consistent minutes.
He was playing better when Mitch was out.
Yeah.
I'll show you his game log. Right, chat. I'm gonna show y'all Precious Achiuwa's game log, right? And y'all tell me what y'all think, man. And this is, I'm not bashing Precious, right? I'm not bashing Precious. Right? What I'm saying is Precious Achiuwa plays better when he knows what to expect. Right? So Mitchell Robinson came back March 1st. Keep in mind, Mitchell Robinson returned March 1st, right? Mitchell Robinson returned March 1st. These are Precious Achiuwa's numbers since Mitch came back. Precious Achiuwa in the month of March has not had a double-digit game. Precious Achiuwa in March has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double-digit minutes games and 3 single-digit minutes games. Precious Achiuwa, right? When Mitch first came back, Precious Achiuwa against Golden State had 8 points and 15 rebounds. Since that time, and this is with Mitch, when Mitch is being incorporated, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 points, 0 rebounds, 0 points, 2 rebounds, 0 points, 1 rebound, 4 points, 3 rebounds, 4 points, 2 rebounds, 2 points, 6 rebounds. Now, in February, I'm just going to scroll to it in February, Precious Achiuwa played 30 minutes a game, right? He averaged 9.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, shot 74% from the free throw line, shot 50% from the floor, and 18% from three, right? In January, on 18 minutes a night, he averaged 6 points, 4 rebounds.
One of the numbers are like way off. Only
Yep.
2 steals.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
actually, like he's been consistent with the steals, but the last 10 games, 2 steals for the last 10 games.
Yep. Yep. There they are. 1, 2. Yep. And he was averaging 1.9. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He was averaging, no, he's about to steal a game.
Steal a game, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so while it seems like when I say that, I'm not saying bench Mitchell Robinson, right? What I'm saying is we have to find, if Tom Thibodeau likes these big lineups, right? If he likes these big lineups, then you got to find a way to incorporate not only Precious, but Ariel Hukporti when he returns, and Mitch, and Cat, right? If you like these big lineups, then you got to play these 4 bigs somehow, right? So if that means Cat has to play minutes at the 4, even though I don't like it, you got to play Cat minutes at the 4 on the wing, right? You got to play Cat at the, because Tom Thibodeau's defense doesn't have a traditional power forward in it, right? How many times do you see a team score at the rim and Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart are taking the ball out the net? Fritz, think about that. When you watch the game, how many times do you see Jalen Brunson taking charges at the rim? A lot, right?
A lot. There's more than you should.
More than he should, right? But he's in that area. He does. It's not always a charge. Sometimes it's a block and foul, but he's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The reason being is because in Tom Thibodeau's scheme, there is no big Charles Oakley back there or no Michael Thompson back there behind Kareem to protect the rim. There is no Rasheed Wallace on this roster to protect the rim when Ben Wallace is away. Right? It's Josh Hart back there. It's Jalen Brunson back there. Because OG guards on the perimeter, Mikal Bridges guards on the perimeter. We have to incorporate OG Anunoby. We have to, and I know there are some people that, I mean, not OG Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa. I be getting, I'm Nigerian, so I get all my Nigerians confused. Right? I think you have to incorporate Precious Achiuwa back into the fold, man. Because now, I ain't gonna front. When you look at Precious now, Precious look like he checked out, bro. Precious look like he can't wait to get this season over with. That's what it looks like, bro.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the fans killing him. He didn't suddenly become garbage overnight. Like that ain't happen.
Right. Right. Nah. It's about roster management. I'm not going to talk about Tibbs. Right? I'm just want to talk about the players. Right? Bronx Mel in the building. Salute. Salute to the greatest borough God ever created, Connecticut. Oh, wait a minute. Connecticut's not a borough, bro?
Should be.
I'm messing around. I'm messing around, man. I'm messing around.
Right next to Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you got to incorporate. Right. And so here's the thing. Here's the thing with me, right? I don't know if you can survive with a unit of Precious Achiuwa and Ariel Huck together. I think that's a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, that's a lot of trust. That's a lot of trust.
Yeah. 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 I think you gotta incorporate Precious. You have to incorporate Huck Porty. You have to incorporate Mitch. You have to have Cat play with another big if you incorporate those three, because those three will never play together. You're never going to see a lineup with Precious, Huck Porty, and Mitch, ever. So you got to incorporate, you got to be creative with your lineups. What does that mean? Does that mean less minutes for Josh? Chat, does that mean Josh Hart should get less minutes? I don't want Josh Hart getting less minutes. I'd like to see Josh Hart getting a different role, though.
You want him out there 40 minutes?
No, I don't want to see. I don't want to see any NBA player playing 40 minutes, not even in the playoffs.
Last year he played almost every minute.
Yeah,
like available. Like it was like 46 of 48, like every game.
Yeah. Last year he didn't play in Game 7 against Indiana. You remember that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Abductor strain.
And you know what an abductor strain is, right?
From overuse.
It's a fatigue injury, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fatigue injury. Right?
I think I don't know. I know we're not talking about Tiz, but I guarantee you Tiz will definitely do what he did to him last year. I think Tibbs is gonna see He's gonna see, hey, we only got 7 games left. Let me get my guy out there as many minutes as I can.
Yeah. Allah Wise is pointing out Willie Cauley-Stein. I love Trill, bro. I love Trill, bro. Yeah, truthfully, I gotta say this to the camera, Fritz. Truthfully, y'all, I like Willie Cauley-Stein more than I like Cat. Nothing personal. Nothing personal.
He can bring his grill too.
Yeah. I mean, and it's nothing to get. I respect the hell out of Cat, bro. I respect Cat, and I am an NBA player that think Cat is tough. I think I think Karl Anthony Towns, so it's complex. It's not that I dislike Cat. It's that I love the dude that, bro, I'll give you 2 examples. Chet. So if you want to know how I feel about Cat, I'm not indifferent to Cat. I like Cat, but I'm not ready to buy a Cat jersey yet. And here's the reason why. There are two examples. Right? In 1983, I think it was, the New York Knicks traded my favorite player, Michael Ray Richardson, for Bernard King. Right? And even though Bernard King was a great player, great Knick, Bernard King is not a top 30 Knick for me. Right? I don't like Bernard King like that. Because we traded Michael Ray Richardson for him, who was my number 1 guy or number 2 guy at the time. Right? After we traded Clyde Frazier and then we drafted Michael Ray Richardson, I was like, yo, it's like this is manna from heaven. Fritz, you ever heard the term manna from heaven?
Yeah, I'm in the Bible. So
yeah. Right. So Michael Ray Rich, this whole thing is like we could 6'4" athletic guards just grow on trees. Right? Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. And then we traded him for Bernard King, who the rumors was that Bernard King was whatever, nightlife crazy. So as a Knicks fan, I'm not saying that Bernard King is a bad player. He's just not in my top 30 because you traded a guy we drafted for that guy who was an upgrade, but I just didn't fall in love with him. And another guy, and here's another guy, right? Here's another guy. The Knicks traded John Starks, my heartstring.
Yep.
My heartstring, bro. I mean, ripped the heart out of my chest for Latrell Sprewell.
Yep.
Right, we found Starks stocking shelves. John Starks was my heart, bro. Starks was my heart. And we traded him for Latrell Sprewell, who people thought would be a better player. And maybe he was. But Sprewell, to me, I respect him and I like him a lot. But you traded my heartstring for him, bro. Mm-hmm. Right? And then a generation later, the guy that saved our franchise comes here off the scrap heap, becomes all NBA, all-star, right? Hitting buzzer beaters against our rivals, bro. Like, legitimately, I watched Noah Vonleh. I think Noah Vonleh was here, 2 years?
Yeah.
Hey, that's not what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying, bro. That's not. No, you gotta listen to me. Hear me. You gotta hear me on that. You gotta hear me on. Hey, what's good, boss?
Not the Knicks. What's up, Freezy?
Yeah, let me.
What's up, Fritz?
I gotta say
Hey,
something. So Jerry Fitz, I'm not saying that Bernard King is not a top 30 Knick of all time. I'm saying he's not a personal favorite of mine. Right. And same thing with Latrell Sprewell. I'm not saying Latrell Sprewell is not an all-time Knick. What I'm saying is that they traded my heartstring for him, bro. It'll be comparable to waking up in a few minutes, and I know this is impossible, but waking up in a few minutes and finding out we traded Jalen Brunson for Anthony Edwards straight up. Right? Now, on the surface, it makes all the sense in the world. On the surface, right? Anthony Edwards, hell yeah, I would have gave up Jalen Brunson and Bridges. But they only took Brunson. Hell, yo, I'm super. But there'd be people in the fan base like, I love Jalen Brunson. Right? IKBM Dre would be like, bro, I know we got Anthony Edwards. Or Fritz. Here's an example. Trade Jalen Brunson for SGA, right?
Mhm.
And IKBM Dre would be like, man, you know I love SGA, man, but I love Jalen Brunson, bro. That's what I'm saying. And that's how I feel about Karl-Anthony Towns. Not that Cat is a bad player, right? Cat's a Hall of Famer already. If Cat legit faxed in his retirement papers tomorrow, he's a Hall of Famer in 5 years. Right? He's a Hall of Famer. The only thing, though, bro, is I loved Julius Randle. I loved Dante DiVincenzo. Right? And so to expect me to fall in love with Cat overnight, bro, this is not a rap song, bro. This is real life. Yeah, no, I feel you. And I knew Michael Ray Richardson had to go. How I knew Michael Ray Richardson had to go. Him and Michael Corrin was coming to my school, Dickinson High School, to sign autographs. Michael Corrin was there an hour early, buying pizza for the kids and signing shirts and stuff. Michael Ray Richardson never showed up. And you still couldn't say nothing about Michael Ray Richardson, bro. To this day, anybody that says anything bad about Michael Ray Richardson, I'm ready to fight, bro. Him and Clyde Frazier. Dre, what's good? Did you get to see the sheet, bro?
The sheet? What was that?
The sheet of integrity. I'm going to show it to you right now.
Oh, no, throw it up. I saw parts of it while you had it up. And then let me put it all the way on my screen.
The keys to a championship. This is it.
I will scratch. Josh Hart has to shoot threes, so Josh Hart has to make threes. Shooting threes isn't enough to win.
So you changed your mind then?
No. He's gonna have to shoot them, but he's gonna have to make them too. Like him just throwing them up. Teams are just gonna let him take the shots. Him shooting them, it matters none. It matters not that much if he's not gonna make them. Like if he goes 0 for 4, then what like the team, the other team.
Steph Curry has gone 0 for 4 before, bro.
Steph Curry also draws the attention of opposing teams' defense.
And Steph Curry has also made 4,000 threes. You're right.
So,
right.
Like Steph could be 0 for 20, and 2 bodies are going to be thrown at him with the game on the line. That's just how it goes.
I feel you. Right. So on this list here, bro, I feel like Tom Thibodeau has to reincorporate Precious Achiuwa into the offense and defense and give him a clear role. Here's the thing. I'm not saying Precious is great. I'm not even saying Precious is good, right? But in those moments where
you got to utilize him correctly.
Right.
and I feel like to be absolutely honest, Tibbs doesn't have the creativity. When someone goes down, he plugs in a guy to play a particular role he has in his mind because he feels like if he dumbs down the role for that player, it makes it more tenable. But it doesn't really work that way. Because I was watching the last game, Breezy, and there were sets where Precious was spacing at the above the break, at the hash. And like, what is he gonna do for us at that point? Like he skill wise, he's not a big. He's a pick and roll big. He can score a little bit in the dunker spot. But if you leave him in the corner by himself or above the break, you penalizing yourself at that point.
That's
You gotta have a certain level of creativity. Utilize Precious as a screener or something.
that's
Off
what.
ball or on ball.
See, that's why I disagree. The reason why Precious is inconsistent. Same thing with Zeke Naji in Denver, right? The
Minutes.
thing is, with guys that size that can move their feet, NBA coaches think, damn, if I can just with that mobility, if I can just get him to do such and such and such, he can be such and such and such. And that's where I disagree, right? Right? What I would have him do is just be an athlete. That's it. Just be an athlete, right? I'm not putting you. No, you're not guarding Valanciunas. Remember the other night he was not Valanciunas, Nurkic.
Yeah, they
No,
had him cross
no.
smash on Nurkic while Cat is like at the 3-point line.
Why?
And when I say like offensively utilizing Precious, utilizing him as an athlete, as a screener, as a roller, as a diver, that's
Yep,
utilizing what he can do. That's what I
that's what
mean.
he can do, bro.
But when you have him at the 3-point line, thinking we're basically running the same offensive sets with the starters that we run with our bench units. So then Precious will space out and be at the 3-point line above the break, just waiting for a catch. And then there's like a
Why?
stagnancy in the
Why?
offense. Why?
Why?
Because Tibbs, the way Tibbs operates,
Oh,
the
here we
way
go
he
with
wants.
here we go with the tips conversation.
No. It's the truth. The way Tibbs
Nah,
operates.
hey man, we ain't, bro. We talk tips every night, bro.
But I'm just explaining. Like he likes having a guy that
But we
draws.
don't care. We don't care nothing about what tip like,
I'm
bro.
saying he likes having a guy that draws two to the ball and guys spacing out and being static in one position. And you asking Precious to do that, it's just not gonna work. Like there's just teams out here that run with two non-spacers on the court. But you know what they do when they have the two non-spacers on the court? If they're athletes, they have them setting screens off ball or on ball. They're
See,
setting
and I
screening
want and
before the
see that's
screener
where I think
and
that's where
having them dive.
but that's where the mistake is made. The mistake is made where you have known non-shooters in spaces where shooters occupy. Right? That's the difference between a coach with a lot of knowledge that tries to fit into the modern game and an innovator.
Yeah.
Right. So the innovator knows that Precious is just a 6'8" athlete. Same thing with Jericho Sims. Jericho Sims is not a big, he's a 6'10" athlete. Like legitimately, Precious Achiuwa can probably walk off the basketball court right now and try out for the Vikings. 6'10" athlete, bro. Right? My thing is with Precious is when you get him to use his short area explosiveness, right? Short area explosiveness, that's where you can take advantage of the things that he does well, right? Like, for instance, I'll give you an example of a guy. Keith Turner. Who was Keith Turner? Who was the other wing player for the Portland Trailblazers back in the day? The guy that played Jerome Kersey.
Mhm.
Y'all remember Jerome Kersey?
Yeah.
Bro, where did Jerome Kersey go to college at? Jerome, Fritz, where did Jerome Kersey go to college? You remember?
Not a fan.
Let me see. I'm going to see if I can remember where he went to college. He went to Longwood. He went to Longwood University. Right. I'm sorry, Dre. Hey, Dre. Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you think Tom Thibodeau can be an innovator on offense?
It's too late for that, Freezy. You're not getting that.
Nope.
You might get like him to pull a few tricks here and there out of necessity. Like when guys go down, he starts rating what other teams do. But as far as where he's at right now, he is at his ceiling right now.
Play out of a timeout. That's about it. That's about it.
Matter of fact, in 5 years, he's consistently picked a guy that is terrible to inbound the basketball. For 5 years, it's always been a thing. It don't matter who it is. It could be Alec Burks. It could be Mikal Bridges. We are terrible at inbounding a basketball, and we're mediocre at out of timeout plays. Like it's just one of those things. It feels like if I'm told I'm really told that the Knicks are are amongst the most prepared teams before games, but we're a -3 in first quarters. So are we actually prepared? Or are we prepared in an idealized way that Tibbs thinks we should be played instead of catering to the players that we do have? It's just it just feels like he has a blueprint for how the basketball game should be played instead of trying to cater to what he does have. And when you don't cater to what you have, that's when you get high floors or low ceilings.
Right. I'm gonna shift back to the Precious thing real quick.
Yeah, Precious.
Okay. So the way Precious is used to me is an indictment on the barbaric approach to playing against the modern style of play. Doing it harder and being more physical doesn't mean that you're going to do it better. Right? Fritz, I know that your MO is not innovation, but just do it harder than everyone else. Is that true? That's accurate, right?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry if I put words in your mouth. Right. My thing is the thing is Fritz, I'll give an example. Back in the day, the Jets used to have a receiver named Wayne Corbett.
Oh yeah,
right.
Go across the middle
And get his head knocked off, right?
Ready to die. Yep.
Ready to die, right? So the Jets knew his 40 speed was terrible, right? The Jets knew that when they called him 5'10", everybody in the NFL laughed behind the scene. This dude ain't 6 foot tall, right? This dude's not 5'11". So what they did was, instead of having him try to be James Lofton, they were like, hey, you can get open in this short area right here. Just get open and we'll get it to you and you'll get your head knocked off, but you'll stay on the team. And so they kept having him 3rd and 6. They would run Wayne Corbett and Wayne Corbett would get 7 yards. 3rd and 6, he gets 7. 3rd and 7, he'd get 8. Right? 3rd and 15, he'll get 7. Right? 3rd and 5, he'll get 7. Right? And so he was known for that. Short area quickness, used this guy's talent. His hands were impeccable. Right? Use his talents. The thing with Precious is we have Precious because because Precious is a thought. Tom Thibodeau is in love with thoughts, bro. If you thick, he love you, bro. If bro, I promise you, if Tom Thibodeau had Tumani Kamara, he'd be on the bench with Kev McCullough and Pacom Dadier.
Maybe too young. Yep.
Too young. And then The problem is he's gung ho about his principles to
Yeah,
win every single night that we get lost in the shuffle in terms of evaluating guys. Like we're about to have 4 back to backs to close out the season,
yeah.
and none of our guys are gonna have a night off unless we have a completely locked in seed. And even then, I don't even think guys are gonna get a night off. And when you go around the league, you watch the Celtics play, middle of the season, they'll give Jason Tatum a night off just cause. And then they'll bring in what's his name, Shireman to light it up for some reason and get 7 threes in a night.
Because he ready, because he been killing it in practice.
We don't know if these kids ain't getting killing it in practice.
How he get on the floor?
Well,
you got to show your coach something.
Well, I'll phrase it like this: we didn't know if Deuce was completely ready until we traded IQ. Deuce was out of the rotation.
I would
Traded
say
IQ, and then we extended him, and then we played him.
I would say this though about Precious and players like them. Though,
yeah.
Instead of forcing him to be something that he's not and won't be, right? How about ask him to do the things that come easy to him? How about unlocking what that man can do confidently? Well, like, hey, Precious, you get 6 fouls. Precious, you get 6 fouls, bro. If I look at that stat sheet at the end of the night and you got anything less than 3, I'm not playing you tomorrow.
Take somebody's head off.
Yeah, bro. These are the things. Because here's the thing, the fouls, you don't have to get the fouls on defense, right? We're gonna attack the rim, and you better be cutting to the rim. Anything that's not a dunk for you, Precious. If anything outside of 5, if you have 4 shots outside of 5 feet, I'm not playing you for a week. I got somebody else who will take those minutes. Ariel Haporti will try to dunk on everybody in sight, bro. You want to stay in the NBA? This is your new role.
Push shots and dunks like this.
You got it. Because here's the thing. Mark Williams is a subpar defender, right? But he was not even threatened the other night. The Knicks didn't even attack the rim. We couldn't create lanes in order to drive because we didn't have big physical guys going to the rim. We had Deuce McBride trying to weave in there and trying to be crafty, right? When Cat took people off the dribble, he was getting mugged at the rim, not getting calls, right? You gotta, in order to have the 5-out offense, you have to have a multidimensional, flexible offensive unit that can handle every aspect of an offense. That includes guys that can shoot, guys that can pass, guys that can drive, guys that can cut and catch passes in traffic, guys that can catch passes in traffic and throw another quick pass to another guy, right? So that other guy can be in position to score, whether it's at the rim or at the 3-point line. The 5-out offense is designed to put a singular defender in jeopardy, right? That's the reason you want 5 guys that can dribble, pass, and shoot, right? And that defender who's guarding one person has to rotate his hips left, rotate his hips right, keep his hands up, and watch out for and play team defense at the same time. It's the reason why 5-out offense works. When you have all it takes for a 5-out offense to become a 1-4 set is one person taking a trip down the floor and they don't feel like playing offense. They taking a rest.
Yeah.
And that automatically puts you in a 1-4, right? And then the thing about it is if it's a guard doing that, if a guard or a wing does it, that means the one who is usually your big now has to do wing and guard stuff and big stuff.
Now you're compromised.
Right. Now you're like your 1-4 set, you have to have Jokic out there. If you have anything less than Jokic in a 1-4 set, now your offense is stagnant. Now the substitution you made, a guy has played 200 minutes over the past 2 weeks, right? He can't even go to the bench and get a squeeze out of his water bottle because one guy on the floor doesn't know how to play offense. And now you rushing him back in the game, and he's going to play 40 minutes tonight. 40 minutes tonight.
46.
Yeah, 46 minutes tonight. Yeah. Yeah, and so these are the things, like, if I have Precious, I'm like, hey, Precious, if you leave this game without 3 dunks, I'm not playing you for the next 5 games, bro. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules. I just go by them.
You know, Freezy, it did look like Precious was aloof and not even active that game.
He's not. He had been engaged in 10 games.
He just looked. You saw that play when he went on a fast break and refused to pass the ball?
He refused to pass. And he threw it to the corner after the defense recovered. We watched it together.
And to that point, he's just so aloof right now. Like earlier in the season, remember he made like an offhand pass with his left hand. He split it, a bounce pass to like Josh Hart. And now he won't even make the pass at all.
Hey, Fritz, I think Dre missed the Precious. Did you miss the Precious part? I'm going to show you the Precious part one more time.
Hold on, let me see it. Was he tentative?
No, I'm gonna just show you something real quick.
The sheet, right?
I got you. This is Precious Achiuwa's game log.
Okay.
Look at his numbers in March since Mitchell Robinson came back.
His minutes evaporated.
Yep. Tibbs took him out of the rotation and didn't. And look at, so March 4th, that man played 30 minutes, had 8 points and 15 rebounds. After that is 16 minutes, 5 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 7 minutes, 17 minutes. And look at it. Look at his shooting percentage. You could tell he's aloof. Like, the guy legitimately shoots about 54% from the floor. That man is shooting under 44% from the floor. That man hasn't made a 3 all month. Or did he? Did he make a 3 this month? That man hasn't made a 3-pointer all month.
And to that point, if you're gonna utilize him the way he's being utilized, he himself, he's gonna get it within the flow of the game because he's a volume guy. Like, he can get 10 points. If you played him 30 minutes, he's gonna get 10 points.
He can get you a double-double, unlike Mitch.
Yeah. Well, Mitch got like a couple double-doubles recently.
Yeah.
I think he followed them back to back as soon as he started getting like 24 minutes. But
those don't count, bro. Those don't count. They don't count, bro. Because for one, San Antonio didn't have a center that was 6'8" or 6'9" or taller.
He didn't play in the San Antonio game.
Oh, yeah, he played.
No, he played that game. He didn't play in the Charlotte game.
He didn't play in the Charlotte game, right?
But to that point, like, even that's not the whole point. When you're utilizing Precious and you put him in the game, and he's not going to play the volume of minutes, then you have to put him in positions to be aggressive. Like, you got to have him as a bowler. Yeah, and once you have him as just a guy that's at the 3-point line waiting for the ball, is just, you're not going to get anything.
That's not what we want him to do.
That might be what Tibbs wants him to do, because he's not flown out there by accident. By no means is he flown out there by accident.
I promise you, Tom Thibodeau is not coaching Precious Achiuwa to get his footwork right on the perimeter. I can promise you that.
But I can promise you that he's not telling his ass to set screens and dive.
Bro, I can promise you that dude is not teaching Precious how to relocate off of opposite side action.
Oh, man.
Like, Precious, look at the defender's feet over there from 25 feet away. He can't turn around this way. So whichever way he's hedging, you relocate the opposite way. So the defense has to rotate a body. Tibbs ain't telling Precious that. Tibbs. Think about what I'm saying, right? Precious Achiuwa on the opposite side of the floor, right, from where the ball is looking at a defender's body. Like, if the defender is turned like this, Precious on the opposite side of the floor, 25 feet away, is supposed to be reading that defender's body, so he'll know how to relocate on his side of the floor. So when the ball bounces around the perimeter, or skips, as they call it, around the perimeter, he'll know where to be. Now, even with that said, he's not going to be on the perimeter. He's got to do the 45 cut, right? The 45 cut to the rim, where when the ball is skipping, the person with the ball can see the front side of his jersey. Tom Thibodeau's not teaching him that. And we know this because you have not seen Precious Achiuwa catch multiple lobs in a half court in a game since he's been here. Right? You've not seen that. And you have not also not have seen when the ball starts to skip, instead of skipping, he cuts to the rim at a 45-degree angle. And so the convergence of the skip pass and Precious Achiuwa meet at the rim at the 90-degree angle that is supposed to be when two 45-degree angles come together. These are the things that you learn when you're a sixth grader trying out for your school team, right? Precious Achiuwa is not, and Tom Thibodeau's not teaching him these things.
Well, when your scheme is read and react, all you're doing is relying on the IQ of your players at that point.
But Drake, the two things about read and react, right? Read and react is for when you have a lead late in the game. Say you're up 20 with 7 minutes left to go in the game. You run read and react because the other team's coach is going to run multiple defenses at you, right? Multiple defenses at you because they're going to try to get you to turn it over, because they need quick points and scored in less time. So they're going to try to turn you over, right? So instead of saying, hey, let's run disco, right? Let's run disco for a little bit and then, get everybody on the stat sheet. You're not going to do that. So you run a set like disco because maybe Josh Hart has 6 points, 14 rebounds, and 14 assists. And you run disco to cycle the ball so you can get Josh Hart 3 or 4 shots to see if you're going to get him a triple-double, right? You run disco in those, bro, but you're not going to – basically what I'm saying is any coach that comes out the gate running read and react when you don't even know, like when the mindset is a team is going to come in and play their best defense against you, whatever defense – Dre, whatever defense worked for the Washington Wizards on Thursday night, Wednesday night, I can guarantee you they're going to start the game running that same defense against the Knicks.
Yep.
Right? Because they're in the groove with it. They're in the groove with it already. So they're going to come in and you know what? And the Knicks are going to see that in film and prepare for it. Right? They're going to say the Wizards are going to come out and run high hedge ball denial on the Knicks, right? They know the Knicks don't have a dominant guard, so they're going to run high hedge, ball denial, force secondary ball handlers to dribble and make decisions and play make at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like blitzing a young quarterback, and Dre know all about that. Like young garbage quarterbacks that get blitzed. The Jets fans know all about that, right?
Bears fans know about that too.
No, we don't know nothing about that, bro.
We got a quarter. We just got a quarterback that didn't know how to handle the blitz that you had before.
Y'all got him from Pittsburgh. Y'all ain't get him from us, bro. Y'all got him from Pittsburgh. We don't know.
That's not your man no more. That's not your man no more. That's not your man
bro.
no more.
Somebody's already wearing number 1 for us. Soon as that man left, that number one didn't even hit the ground. Somebody else was wearing it, bro.
Oh my God.
Jalen Johnson. We don't care nothing. Man, get that dude out of there. So but Dre, my point though, with Tom Thibodeau and Fritz, but the point is that I'm making about Tom Thibodeau, Precious Achiuwa, Mitchell Robinson, Ariel Hukporti, these things of all those dudes, Mitch, Precious, Ariel Hukporti understands these things already, right? Ariel Hukporti sees a defender drop step this way, right? He's not going to cut towards the drop step. He's going to cut away from the drop step and make the defender turn his body. These are things that you learn in 6th grade, right? It's the reason why the lob is not there at the rim, because we're being taught when you set the screen, run in a straight line to the rim, right? If you're the roll man, run, Dre, and you see it all the time. And I don't know if you ever pointed it out, but I'll point it out.
Yep.
We teach our roll man to run inside the paint line on the way to the rim. You know what, chat? Y'all know where people shoot the free throws at? Y'all know where people stand there shooting their free throws? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? We teach our roll man to get just inside of that, and we teach our ball handler to get on the other side on the same place, right? To that, right? But the thing is, one defender can guard both. It's only an 8 foot. How wide is the lane, y'all? 8 feet? 6? How long? How wide is the lane? Like 8 feet? Whatever it is. However, one person can stand in the middle of both of those offensive players and guard both. That's why you see the drop man dropping like this with his hands out like this, backing up, because he can either go from one side or the other. But you know what we don't do, Dre? What we don't do is screen for the roll man. How about when our roll man rolls to the rim, you bring up a screener, screening the drop guy, right? Now, one would say, you know what? But what about the man? What about the man who's screening? He's bringing his man up there too. Exactly. If you have 3 people in the paint, guess what you don't have on the perimeter?
Multiple defenders on the perimeter.
Multiple defenders. You have 2 guys on the perimeter guarding 3 guys now.
But to that point, if you run lineups out there with Josh Hart and Princess Achiuwa, well, Josh Hart's man is going to be the tag man to help out whatever action you're doing in the paint. Because they ignore that man in the paint.
Is that not what you want, though?
No, I don't want that if Josh Hart's not going to take the open shot.
Okay, duly noted. Touche. Exactly. Especially
if he's taking an open shot, if he's taking an open shot and attacking that space, because when you decide to leave Josh open, Josh as a non-spacer is probably top 1% in the league for any non-spacer skill-wise in the league. So he usually, when he's aggressive, he's attacking that space that you're giving him, that launching pad that you're giving him. But when he's not aggressive, then you don't want that look.
Bro, I feel you, right? I feel you. Right. I'm with you. But say if you bring Josh there and Josh screens, sets the back pick for Mitch, you know what you get? You get Josh Hart's defender trying to stop the lob to Mitchell Robinson in the air. And you know what else you get? Josh Hart in rebounding position.
Yeah.
Right. These small, nuanced things, bro. When Monica McNutt said it 2 years ago, like, we don't get backside actions out of our pick and roll. These are the things that she was mentioning. The drop man against us never feels in jeopardy.
They already, when the drop man's in drop coverage, they already know that Jalen Brunson floater's coming. That's it. Ain't nothing else happening with that. It's the floater, no lob, no dump down, no kick out, unless it's Josh Hart in the corner because he's getting ignored. Like this.
And you don't have to run, and I appreciate that, bro. You don't have to run sets like that all the time. You just need to put it on tape.
Yeah, give them something to think about.
Right. You just needed to put it on tape so dudes won't sag. And now it's like,
if it happens twice in the game and you get 2 easy buckets, now it's in the back of their mind.
Yeah.
For the rest of the season. It's on the scouting report. This can happen.
And you know what you're getting now, and B-baller for real, you know what you're getting now once a team sees it. You're getting wide open corner threes. You're getting
But
wide now. Which corner? I don't know. Now I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and act like I know which corner the three is gonna come from. We just have to see how the defense plays it. Right? Nobody's gonna know which corner because unless you have an analytics department that knows the tendencies of the opposing coach, and then you see what that coach is doing that night, then you'll know. Right? But the mere fact that we don't have we don't have back action on pick and roll, and then we say that is Cat and Brunson. Man, Mikal Bridges' shot, man, he be smothered. The dude has to have a shot diet of fadeaways.
mid-range jumpers, which is the toughest shot in the game.
Yeah.
Because number one, the paint isn't open like you want it to be. Otherwise, he would just waltz in the lane. Number two, the corner shooters, because there's no, well, it's Fritz that who's that sound? That might be Fritz. But to that
No.
point, the since your shooters are static in the corners, they already know where to be as far as rotation wise. So we just make the job we just become very predictable, easy to guard. And because Jalen Brunson and Cat are amazing offensive players, it works out. But once you go against a team that has the personnel and the tendencies and the IQ, like when we go against the Celtics, we just look terrible, especially at the beginning of the games.
Yeah, Dre, I would tell you this. If we added back action to our pick and roll, Jalen Brunson and Cat would average 27 on less shots. And one of Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, and Mikal Bridges will see a significant spike in their offensive efficiency. I won't know which one. I would say all three, but you wouldn't know it in stretches.
Like,
right? Because I'm sorry,
go ahead. Go. I was gonna say the idea, like I 100% agree with you. Like you would see a spike in the efficiency, and like the idea of our offense, like it works when everyone is aggressive. When Josh is particularly aggressive, but when he's not, then you have to utilize him in other ways to free up your star players, and we don't. We just kind of like sit in air and sit in space, and when the shot goes up, we try to crash. And that's it.
Yeah. You know what? You know the play that I described, right? Chat, the play that I described, and I agree with Dre on that too, the analysis part. Right? The play that I described is a basic play that we used to use to get our center in position to post up. Right? And I don't know if y'all remember the New Jersey Nets used to have a center named Aaron. Remember the light-skinned dude?
Aaron Williams.
Is that his name? Aaron Williams?
He had red hair, kinda.
Yeah, him.
It's Aaron Williams.
They started running that and just told him to roll to the rim, and they got dunks off it. And then I saw the Clippers doing it. Chris Paul used to have two bigs, right? One would set the screen, and then the other would set the back screen so the other can catch the lob from Chris Paul.
Yeah. One would cross the lane and set a little rub screen.
Bump the defender just enough. You don't have to be Kerry Rhodes and knock his head off.
Yeah.
You just got to slow him down like a millisecond. Who was Kerry Rhodes? Fridge, who was Kerry? I don't know why the name Kerry Rhodes popped in my mind.
I know who it is. It's a Jet safety.
Yeah.
Bro, why does everything have to be Jets, bro?
It's from like 2008 or something like that.
but Dre, you see what it's like the New York City bump. You know how you walking down the street, somebody bump you or whatever?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Freezy, you're speaking to it, bro. We don't make teams think about what we're doing offensively. We just go through the motions. We don't do anything with urgency. And I feel like some of it has to do with the players actually being tired, to be absolutely honest. I read something, Freezy. They've been on 11 flights in the last 15 days. And Tibbs can't really find a day off for a guy here, for a guy there. So in fact, on a back to back, that man ran That man shortened the rotation.
Bro, and you know what? You know what my response is? Because what you're saying in real life, I'd be like, yo, that's crazy, man. They need a day off. But you know what? If cats wouldn't have been talking about, yo, the minutes police be checking out minutes, that's not in our culture.
It's ironic, and then the guy that's struggling the most is Josh because now he has a bum knee. And
So what, bro? That's what I'm. The thing about folks our age.
Yeah.
The thing about folks our age. The thing about folks once you get to be about 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Once you get that age or older, you understand what the term day of reckoning means.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Recovery ain't what it was.
Catches up. Yeah.
Yep. You understand terms like, okay, the chicken's gonna come home to roost. When people say that, you like, okay.
What the hell that mean?
Yeah, when you're young,
Yeah,
you say, what does that mean?
mean?
Yep. But when you get older, you're like, okay, all right, keep talking. You'll see. And see, this is the day of reckoning. Josh Hart called out the minutes police, and now he out here tugging on his shorts.
Back-to-back games talking about he tired.
Yep.
Oh, we physically and mentally. Nope.
Yep.
Wow, what did you think was gonna happen?
Bro, with the Mikal Bridges thing, when Mikal Bridges, the NBA's Iron Man, said something about it, and y'all are like, in our culture, this is how we do it. Okay. All right. Come on, keep it up. Okay. We just gonna wait. We just gonna wait
till somebody get hurt, seriously hurt.
Yep. Sure enough, somebody got seriously hurt.
You know what? I'm gonna be real with you, Freezy. I put that injury on Tibbs solely, that Brunson ankle turn. That man knew we needed a bucket and had Josh Hart on the court. And they immediately blitzed Brunson, and Josh Hart didn't get a shot off. Now we go to OT, and this man turned his ankle.
Yep.
Instead of just playing actual 5-out. So they can't blitz him immediately. And if they do, they're getting beat over the head with a jumper, a wide open jumper from a shooter.
And I'm gonna say, okay, so chat, I'm gonna turn the conversation a little bit to some Tibbs hate, right? Just for a few minutes. I don't want to turn it into bludgeon Tibbs, because we've been bludgeoning Tibbs all season, right? But for the talent Tom Thibodeau has been blessed with over all these years, for that man not to have an NBA title is beyond malpractice.
Not even an NBA title. He has only one conference championship appearance.
But that's not the point I'm getting at, though, because anybody can get to the conference.
Not him.
Just stay with me on it. Stay with me on it. Think about this. This man had the youngest MVP ever. Right? Think about this. Tom Thibodeau got that man. That man was 21 years old, on his way to becoming the greatest point guard the NBA has ever seen. Right? This man dunked on a two-time, or was it two-time league MVP? Steve Nash was two-time league MVP or once?
That was on Dragic. Talking about on Suns when he cocked it back like two hands.
No, I'm talking about the one on the break where he just reached up in the sky and grabbed it out of the heavens with one hand.
Oh, the alley-oop?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
That's on Nash.
I feel like that was against Atlanta, but I could be wrong.
Damn it, Derrick Rose jumped them to the sky and pulled the basketball out of the heavens and dunked on. I think it's Steve Nash. And I may be wrong.
He decided he was going to dunk it while he was in there. He's like, maybe I should just dunk this.
Maybe.
I saw the one in Atlanta. I was there live.
Bro.
Yeah.
I was there live for Atlanta.
Bro.
I feel like that was a playoff game or regular. Yeah, maybe it was playoff. I'm not sure. But I remember he caught it. Like he caught it and like he paused in the air and then decided to dunk it.
Bro, but think about what I'm about. But think about this though, is what I'm saying. Right? The man had the man legitimately had a dude. I'm gonna turn this camera off because my thing's starting that crazy. But The man legitimately had a point guard that was on the way to becoming the greatest point guard ever. And Steph Curry was a baby. Was young. Steph Curry was the babyface assassin at the time. Right? And instead of going to the finals and winning with it, he ruined a roster, bro.
Mm.
Like legitimately, the Chicago Bulls organization was drafting guys in the right spot, and Tom Thibodeau was like, "No, I don't like him. I like Taj. No, I don't like Tony Snell. I like Jimmy Butler."
Yeah.
Right? Think about these. Think about all these things that Tom Thibodeau think, bro. So he
It got so
goes from
bad, Freezy. It got so bad. He wasn't even talking to the front office. Like he would just show up, ignore the front office, and then do whatever he wants to do with us.
right. That's why they fired him.
Yeah.
Right. But here's the thing. Okay, things happen, right? So he goes to Minnesota and then also gets his hands on a generational number one pick.
Cat and Wiggins.
And I don't think Wiggins is a generational number one pick. I just think Wiggins was good. But
He was very good, but I feel
yeah.
like he could have been developed a little bit better.
But my point though is he left one organization that got the number one pick right.
Yep.
And you could have built around Derrick Rose, but Derrick Rose's career gets ruined in non-essential minutes.
Up 14 with a minute ago, minute 15 ago.
Right.
Nuts.
Right. And then goes to Minnesota with the same template, right? But lottery team, bunch of first round picks, and goes there and ruins. You remember the dude from Louisville? The dude from Louisville played power forward next to Cat. The dude that was stretching the floor.
Gorgie Jang.
Fritz, you remember him? The dude, he was learning how to stretch the floor. He was learning how to be. What was the European dude in Orlando? With Dwight Howard.
Hedo Turkoglu?
Yeah. I'm not saying he was him, right? What I'm saying is that guy could pass a little bit, rebound a little bit, shoot a little bit. He was a perfect complement for Cat at the time, right? He benched him for Taj Gibson, right? To win in the short term. Right? To win in the short term. Come to find out he ruins Minnesota. Now he's here with the Knicks. Right? Now he's here with the Knicks. And we're wondering why. Hey, man, Mikal Bridges look awful, bro. I don't know what we paid 6 picks for Mikal Bridges and he ain't doing nothing. Yo, man, we need OG Anunoby. We need more out of OG, man. Nah. Before these dudes put these Knicks uniforms on, bro, we was begging God for OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. And now that they here, we like, yo, these dudes is trash, bro. Are they really? Or are they being misused?
I can tell you right now they are. There's no rhyme or reason for the things that he does. Like Freezy, it's been 5 years since he's been here. We still don't know how to guard a pick and pop.
Right.
In 5 years. Don't matter who on the team, don't matter who on the court, don't matter the communication, don't matter who it is. We got elite defenders, bad defenders, so defenders. If a team can pick and pop, they'll get whatever they want on us. And that's been a thing. Like the whole roster composition, like people can complain about the roster composition being not being ideal. You can't tell me, like Freezy, there's only been like 200 possessions this entire season when Cat has been on the court without another non-shooter for the entire year. It's either when Cat's in the game, Josh Hart's in the game, or if Josh Hart's not in the game, Cat's in the game with Precious. Like we over prioritize the boards too much to a fault. And then even in times where we need when we need a bucket, he's still trotting out guys out there that don't get buckets. Like we trying to get one shot off before overtime. The hell are we thinking about a Josh Hart rebound for?
Right.
Because that's the only thing he gonna offer you in that moment. It's one of those things where Tibbs will actively see something that's not working, and he'll keep trying to make it work because that's his conventional knowledge on how the game is played.
Bro,
And his tenets, how he sees the game, is from 1992. Like in that particular era, you heavily relied on your star players. You heavily relied on them to play every night, and you heavily relied on them to play 38 to 40 minutes every night.
yeah.
And in that era of the league, up until like 2013, star players ran everything. But in this particular era of the league, especially after the Steph Curry era, everything is about maximizing and cohesion and fit and utilizing guys for their skill sets because the sum is greater than its parts in this
Correct.
iteration.
Hey,
And
did Tom Thibodeau win a championship with Kendrick Perkins?
he won a championship with 3.5 Hall of Famers.
Well, no, I'm saying was Kendrick Perkins the
Oh yeah, he
center,
was on the court.
or was Kevin Garnett the center?
He was the starting center.
Okay.
Kendrick Perkins. That was when stars ran the league, where you
Right,
could just come in and win off of.
And they had
sheer star power.
James Posey, right? Y'all remember James Posey?
Off the bench.
Yep, they had James Posey. What's the guy we always forget his name? The guy that played with James Posey.
Leon Poe.
Leon Poe. That's who I want Precious Achiuwa to be. Leon Poe. If Tibbs can turn him into Leon Poe, bro, I think we can have.
I think that 08 Celtics team is so grossly, like the players are so grossly underappreciated because they won a championship with Doc Rivers coaching that team.
And Tibbs. And Tibbs, right?
And you know what? And it was the most hard fought championship because you know why? They're the champion that took the most games to win. They went to 6 games twice and 7 games twice. No champion has had to do all of that just to win a championship.
And didn't Tibbs leave the next year and the Celtics fell off? Didn't Tibbs take like the Bulls job when
the Celtics didn't fall off? They just got hurt.
Okay.
Remember KD? Remember the following year KG got hurt before the playoffs. Remember he was out in suits and all that, and they were still winning like 50 games.
Yeah.
But they were winning. They didn't win another championship after that. But they went to the finals after that, and then the year after that.
That's because Ray Allen left, right? Ray Allen went to Miami.
Yeah, he was gone.
Ray Allen was gone a few years after that. Ray Allen was gone after the second finals trip.
Okay.
And then they were still making like conference title runs, like they were making runs to the conference, the ECF.
But they were losing to New Jersey, right?
New Jersey, no, they were losing to like the Heat.
The Heat. That's right. That's right. Yeah. 2011, Chris Bosh scored like 30 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Celtics in Game 7.
I think so, but yeah.
I remember.
It was one of those things where, with all the talent that like Doc Rivers has had, the fact he only has 1 ring is crazy. That Clippers team should have won one.
Yeah, I got it.
You know, it's funny, Freezy. The Clippers, because of that run, have like the highest winning percentage of the league in the last like 15 years.
Wow.
And they still don't have a championship.
I'm gonna say this about I'm glad Nick Yak is here. Nick Yak, I'm glad you are here because I wanted to say in these last few minutes, I just wanted to say this one thing. I just want to get this one thing off my chest. I think while Tom Thibodeau made Mitchell Robinson a better overall player, I think he ruined Mitchell Robinson's ceiling.
Yeah.
And I know Mitch fans are gonna be like, no, man, Mitch is right where he's supposed to be. No. I know the Mitch fans are gonna be like, nah, man, Tom Thibodeau taught him to stay down on defense. Remember, Mitch used to foul out, man. Mitch used to be a coil spring. Okay, I got you. I get it. You don't need an NBA coach to go to a 7-footer and be like, hey man, don't jump right here. Drop your hips. Mr. Marcellus told Kenny Washington at one time, right? And Kenny Washington jumped on a block and he sat him. And he didn't play him for the rest of the game against Ferris. You know what Kenny Washington did for the rest of the time I played with him?
Yeah.
He dropped his hips and stayed down. Right. You don't have to be Red Auerbach, but you don't need 4 years of Tom Thibodeau telling Mitch such and such and such. Right? Yo,
I don't think he told him at all.
He may not, bro. He may not. But I honestly think the Tom Thibodeau coaching staff focused on what Mitchell Robinson's floor could be as opposed to what his ceiling could be for a second-round pick.
That's been the case for the entire team.
And so while that sounds crazy, like Uncle Freezy, how you know? How I know is he turned a legitimate lightning ball of energy into a plodding Herculean guy that stayed injured.
They made that man put on all that weight just to guard one person and get rebounds. Because there's only Joel Embiid he got to focus about in the paint. And at that point, what is he 280 for?
You only play. How often do you play Joel Embiid? How often do you play Jokic?
And even then, at that point, when you take away his athleticism, when you do get the stop, he can beat them down the floor. But now he's a plodding, slow center with foot injuries, and now he can't even utilize what he was given when God gave him in the first place.
Now it's too late, and we're watching Khalil Ware do the stuff Mitch used to do. The other night, Khalil Ware caught a lob on Mitch, and I'm not. Listen, I'm not a Miami Heat fan, and I don't like it. But Khalil Ware caught a lob on Mitch the other night, and I was like, damn, that's what Mitch used to. Mitch used to be bouncier than that.
Mitch used to catch lobs and then do a 180, just because.
Yeah. Yeah.
Derek Lively's doing all that stuff that Mitch.
Yeah, bro. What I'm saying to y'all is Mitchell Robinson right now, at a minimum, his baseline, right, should be the Rudy Gobert template. 14, 11, and 2 blocks. Right? Just and not 14 off of saucing you up in the paint, right? But 14, 11, and that's with
quick seals. Dump down,
yep,
putbacks, and lobs.
Screen for the screener, right? Running the pick and roll off the wing and not from the top of the key all the time to give the defense a different look, right? It's like Edwin Diaz's slider. He throw it out of the fastball slot. So every time you see Edwin Diaz pitch, you think it's the fastball. Sometimes it's the slider. And when you get slider, the fastball is at 100 miles per hour. And so you just can't adjust to it. It's too fast. Right? This is what things like the small things. And listen, I'm not blaming Tibbs for getting us out of the lottery. What I'm saying is Mitchell Robinson probably could have been the 5th best center in Knicks history. I'm just going to throw out an arbitrary number. Mitchell Robinson could have been a top 10 center in Knicks history, right? And now we look at Mitchell Robinson as what he could have been, and hopefully we can kind of recapture stuff.
We're just trying to piece together what we can at this point. And he's making some progress because I've noticed he has some touch around the rim now. Like he doesn't look completely clunky trying to go up for a layup.
Yeah.
But that we lost a lot. And I'm gonna keep it real with you, Freezy. If we just talking physical talent from the center, he might be the most physically gifted center we've had. Like in terms of just what he could have done when he came out.
You remember the game in Fritz, were you at the game in Atlanta? Dre, I'm with you. I'm gonna use an example. Fritz, were you at the game in Atlanta? When I think a bunch of us bought tickets to the Atlanta game, and they were like terrible tickets, but we were all sitting together.
No,
And
I went to I've been to Atlanta one time. I went to an Atlanta game like years and years ago, like 2011, 2010, around there.
Ooh, I wasn't even born then, bro. But the reason why I bring it up is I think it was Mitch's rookie year, right? Mitchell Robinson blocked Trae Young's floater off the glass and beat Randall and Trae Young down the floor and caught the lob from Randall over Trae Young's head. That man was legit going full speed towards his rim, blocked Trae Young off the glass. The ball rebounds off of the glass, goes to Randall. He beats Randall down the floor in a full sprint. Trae Young is backing up to stop Randall, and they throw the lob to Mitchell Robinson on Trae Young's head.
Freezy, I want to ask you a question. If Patrick Ewing had Mitch's athleticism, where would he rank all time?
I would say this: young Pat had Mitchell Robinson's athleticism, but the dude from the Sixers fell on Patrick Ewing's knee in his rookie year. Hey, all the old heads, your old heads will remember this. The center from the Sixers fell on Pat's knee and ruined Pat's rookie season, and it took Pat athleticism away from him because the Knicks wouldn't. There was no such thing as get MCL surgery and you be out whatever days. They were like, yo, we just gonna go in there and put the things back together. And so yeah, because Pat Ewing at Georgetown, bro, was Marcus. He was probably better than can be at UMass.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But I mean, I guess it depends on, you know. But at the same
it's
time,
circumstance. It's just
yes, things happen because we could say the same thing about Mitch. What if Mitch never got hurt? What if Mitch never put on the weight?
Damn, I feel like all that weight contributed to all those injuries.
Yeah,
because that man got little ass feet for a man that tall. So
and
throwing on an additional 30 pounds on a frame that wasn't really meant for it, that might have done to me because he's had all those repeated injuries with his ankles and feet over and over and over.
Yeah, and so my thing is, I've been saying it for years, bro. I felt like Mitch should have stayed in that Jaren Jackson Jr. thing. Now, I'm not saying that he was ever going to shoot threes, right? Jaren Jackson Jr. has small hands and small feet for a guy 6'11", right? So Jaren Jackson Jr. he's got long arms, right? But he's got normal human, like, it's just weird, right? But I honestly believe Mitchell Robinson's developmental path could have been crazy. Y'all remember how much he improved just with Mike Miller and DeAndre Jordan?
Oh yeah.
Y'all remember that?
Yeah, just a few months. Yeah.
Yeah, when we ran horns every play. Y'all remember that? What's the play horns? I think we ran.
And he would throw up the sign with his hand. He'd look like Texas Longhorns. Yep. He would throw it up with his hand.
Yep. I think Mitchell Robinson. I think Mitchell Robinson's development was stymied by Tibbs, not because he hates centers, right? Because think about when we got Tibbs, we were thinking when Tibbs took the job, a few of us were thinking, well, if he can turn Joakim Noah into that, Mitchell Robinson is more athletic and maybe more skilled. Now, Joakim Noah had a higher basketball IQ. We forget what a basketball IQ at center looks like, right? But man, I was thinking, bro, if he can do that with Noah, bro, Mitchell Robinson is gonna be. I was thinking he could be like 17 and 12, right? But I was wrong. I was way off. I was way off.
But you're
Right.
never gonna be allowed to reach your ceiling if you're not allowed to make mistakes. And when Tibbs is so averse to like turnovers and guys making mistakes on the fly because he's all about winning every single thing, every single game, it almost becomes a detriment because like in a game like for example, a game against the Spurs, we didn't learn anything new at all. And in those moments, in the games like that, you want to like get new data. You want to throw in someone in a low leverage situation to see what they can do. But we didn't learn like we don't learn anything in our losses. We don't.
No.
That it's the same story, same thing, repetitive over and over. And it's like when you look around the league and you canvas the league, when teams lose, especially good teams, they take something from it.
Right.
But because they tried something that they typically may not be something that's out of the norm, or they experiment. I saw Mark Dagnall said it would be negligence if I didn't try different kinds of lineups. They already had the best small ball lineup in the entire league, and it was dominating, right? And they decided, yo, I must see what these Chet and Hartenstein minutes look like because it's my job to. If Tibbs found something that worked, he is not changing from it. Period. Don't matter what it is. If you find something that works, he does not care about what's going to happen when you get into the playoffs and it doesn't work. And how are you going to pivot from that? It's part of the reason why Julius Randle looks so bad against Atlanta.
Yeah.
When he found something that worked in the regular season, and he thinks just because it works then it's going to always work forever. And then you end up not learning anything in your losses, and then nothing. You don't take anything forward, or you don't gain any knowledge. It's one of those things where you're going to be stuck behind the eight ball because guy prioritizes winning above all else. And with that particular attitude, it gets you competence. It gets you a baseline of competence, but it doesn't get you a ceiling of high level play. It's just not like you're just never going to get those things
Right.
because its tenets are so strung out on winning each possession, but winning each possession on his terms, not in the terms of what the NBA dictates what wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Like I'm seeing random dudes named Shireman go against tanking teams and get like 7 threes up.
Like you see random dudes like Quentin Grimes putting up a bunch of points in meaningless games. I mean, yeah, you just
they're still tanking. I'd rather say random dudes on good teams.
bro, yeah. The Sixers have cranked up the soft tank, bro. They got the soft tank rolling strong, bro.
Hey man, they gave Grimes that 2005 Kobe usage. He the only guy out there allowed to take all of the damn shots.
Yeah.
Bad shots too.
You know they have Chuma Keki starting for them.
Oh my god. So you know they tanking.
They tanking for real, bro. Yeah, JJ, Quentin Grimes is trash, bro.
Quentin Grimes is. I'm not gonna go as far as.
It's okay. So you don't so you're not gonna call him you're just gonna call him litter.
I'm gonna say he plays his best basketball when there are no expectations.
He's recyclables. He an empty water bottle, plastic bottle.
Oh, I hope he takes every cent from the 76ers system.
I hope they go into so much.
They not gonna have no money. What
No,
they
just
gonna with?
yo, I hope he takes it all. Whatever they got, I hope he takes it all.
I hope they pay.
What do they have like 4 million? I'm sorry.
They don't have anything. They just can go over the tax because they have his rights.
Yeah, they're gonna yeah. I hope he get him like 13. I hope he get like 13 million. Just
13. I hope they give him 25.
Yeah, just ruin the franchise. Just ruin it,
bro. They got somebody's gonna give that man 4 years, 30 million, and regret it like the Jordan Poole contract. Bro.
30 million to 30 million a year.
Yeah. No, a year. I think he's gonna get I think he's.
I think somebody's gonna give him at least 25 if this rate.
Yeah, because if you're a team with cap space, why not take a chance on Grimes?
There's only one team with cap space. Well, honest to God, cap space right the second before trades, and it's the Nets.
And they would never, bro.
They might.
They might, yeah.
The rumor is the Randalls will be back in New York, bro. That's the rumor.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I'm okay.
They can have that. They can have that.
Y'all always doubt me, bro. People
I'm
always
not doubting you.
I hope Randall gets every cent he wanted from New York.
I hope he gets a max from the Nets. I hope the Nets give him $50 million a year.
Yeah. My thing with Mitch is a love story and a tragedy, right? Because when I first saw Mitch and DeAndre Jordan and the thought of Mitch and y'all remember the thought of Mitch and Porzingis? Remember that? Mitch Porzingis and Knox. Y'all remember that we thought
we were thinking Mitch Porzingis and RJ.
No,
remember we drafted RJ and then we traded Porzingis before he could come back.
I get that. I'm talking about before that though.
Okay.
I'm talking about legitimately when Knox and Mitch were on the floor and Porzingis was our lead guy. Like, remember when Porzingis looked like an all-star? We were like, yo, he might be a franchise player.
He was an all-star, yeah.
He was playing like all NBA caliber.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, his body breaks down after like 40 consecutive games or something like that.
Yeah, he's not a 1B. He's meant to be a 1C, but I don't fault the Knicks for testing him out as a 1A. Because if he was a 1A, he'd be Wemby right now, bro.
He performed as a 1A, but his body couldn't handle that.
Yeah, his body couldn't handle it. His body just. Because y'all remember the Christmas Day game against Golden State where he did the pirouette on Draymond Green and dunked on him at the rim?
Yeah.
Bro, when we saw that, we was like, oh,
what is this?
Shit. Yeah. And then we were thinking, yo, it's us. We have this dude.
It's Freezy. It's like one of the rare instances where it's like we have a guy that can do something that no other player in the league could do.
Yep.
And then we had to get rid of him. I understood why they traded him. It benefited us in the long term, but it was one of the rare times where we had like a physical freak that was actually skilled. Usually our super athletic guys aren't guys good enough to actually be a star.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing about trading Porzingis, I'm still in the mindset where I think we should have kept him and rehabbed him. Now, I understand the behind the scenes melodrama. I understand that. Right. And I understand Frank Ntilikina and his team had a lot to do with some stuff too. And that soured a lot of people on Frank while he was here. And Fritz, I don't know if you know this story or not. I'll tell it again just real quick in like 2 minutes. Bro, the story goes, Frank Ntilikina stormed into the Knicks front office unannounced and demanded that the Knicks trade everything that they have for this 16-year-old kid in Europe named Luka. At the time, right? At the time, just remember, just don't look at today. Go back to 2017.
He was a skinny kid.
Just go back to spring 2018. I'm sorry. Go back to spring 2018. Right? And Frank Ntilikina is demanding that the Knicks take the 2018 pick and the 2019 pick and trade it to move up to get Luka to whoever had the number 1 pick. Right? He was like, I saw this guy. This guy's going to be the future of NBA basketball. People fell out with Frank. People fell out with the front office. All these hurt feelings and all that stuff come to find out, the Knicks not only don't listen to Frank, right? They go in the opposite direction and say, we'll build our own prodigy out of the draft, and they selected Kevin Knox.
Oh my God.
And then, and then when they selected Kevin Knox, now remember, Dallas insulated themselves. They were like, yo, we're gonna take this guy, we're gonna build a nest for him, we're gonna have a coach be his best friend for the next 2 or 3 years, right? Like legit, whatever Luka needs, we're gonna put it in place so that he can develop into the guy. What the Knicks did was take a coach off of a championship staff, right, and try to build Kevin Knox up the old school way. Now, mind you, when this was going on, right, when this was happening, the Celtics, the Sixers, the Raptors, and the Celtics, the Sixers, and I can't remember who the Nets had, but they all had the Celtics, the Sixers, Knicks, all had 19, 20, and 21-year-old wing players that, if developed correctly, they could turn into OG Anunoby or Pascal Siakam or some names you never heard of before. Like, you probably never heard of these names before, right? Because these dudes were 20-year-old dudes named OG Anunoby, right? A 19-year-old dude, a 20-year-old dude named Pascal Siakam, right? A 20-year-old dude named Jaylen Brown, a 19-year-old dude named, a 21-year-old dude about to turn 22 named Jaylen Brown, a 19-year-old about to turn 20 named Jason Tatum, right? All of these franchises insulated their young, impressionable wing players with coaches and coaching staffs that supported these young guys. And what the Knicks did with Kevin Knox is the opposite. No, we're not doing you no special favors. You're gonna have to get it out the mud, right? This is New York. You got to get this thing out the dirt. And the coach cussed him out every day, right? I saw some of it, bro, with my own eyes. Cussed him out every chance he got. And then when it came time for the coach to execute high-level coaching IQ, he did shit like wrote the word together on a whiteboard during an a nationally televised ABC game in which Kevin Knox started out the game roasting Jason Tatum. The coach, our coach, cussed Kevin Knox out. He gets cold. Brad Stevens goes to Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum has this look on his face like he's a soft St. Louis kid, just like Coach K called him at Duke. He was like, you'll never be anything unless you get over that moniker of being a soft St. Louis kid. Brad Stevens saw the look on his face, wrapped his arm around him, and reminded him, bro, don't worry about being, I think he was like 2 for 14 or something ridiculous. Don't worry about that. You're the future of Celtics basketball. Meanwhile, this dude is cussing on ABC, cussing Kevin Knox out, and Kevin Knox dropped his head and go sit on the bench. Now, mind you, the Sixers are developing wing players named Ben Simmons and Robert Covington. The Celtics are developing guys, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. The Raptors at the same time are developing Ogungwa and Pascal Siakam. And the Knicks have a coach that has a fine wife, but he's a low basketball IQ and he's cussing out rookies. His mindset was, I'm going to save Emmanuel Mudiay, but I'm going to cuss out Kevin Knox every day.
Freezy, that man went from playing Kevin Knox 30 minutes a night, learning from his mistakes, to benching him the entire second year.
Benching him, bro. And then he gets fired. They bring in Mike Miller, and Mike Miller plays Mo Harkless in front of Kevin Knox because Mike Miller thinks he has an inroad to the head coaching job.
Well, they gave him a... Yeah. I don't even like how they even handled that. I hate how they even handled that.
How are you gonna? Hey, and Fritz, you know who the lead assistant was at the time? Remember, they fired Keith Smart and Glasses at the same time, right? They fired Keith. Remember, Keith Smart was breaking people jumpers.
Oh my God, he was breaking everybody. He broke RJ jumper.
Bro, I'm telling, bro, the lead assistant was a dude named Caleb Canales that everybody felt like all the Knicks had to do was do the obvious thing. Bro, give Caleb Canales a shot. You don't have to hire him long term, but the players respect him, and he's an offensive innovator off of Terry Stotts' staff out of Portland. Caleb Canales engineered Dame Time in Portland. They brought him here because of that. But instead of hiring the young, innovative assistant, they let the young, innovative assistant walk out the door and go somewhere else and brought in an old dog. Now, if this story sounds familiar, maybe you've heard this thing before. A young, hot assistant that's innovative, right? And has relationships with players all over the league, love this young assistant, but you let him leave because the old dog coach feels threatened. Anybody ever heard that story before? That sound familiar?
Sounds kind of familiar.
Caleb Canales. Bro, that's what I'm saying. What are we doing, bro? That's why when Dre talked to me about basketball, I appreciate his knowledge and his insight. I appreciate the way that he expresses himself. I appreciate his word usage. I appreciate the fact that it's eloquent the way he states it, right? But I don't care. Because no matter what Dre says, right? No matter what Dre says, the Knicks are going to be the Knicks, bro. And that's no disrespect to Dre. Dre is saying all the right stuff in the way that it's supposed to be said. It's eloquent, it's poignant for the moment, but it's the Knicks, bro. What are we talking about?
They always just gonna go against the grain and do the wrong thing.
Bro, what are we talking? I'll give an example, right? The young hot assistant right now for the Knicks should be Dice Yoshimoto, right? But what do y'all see Dice Yoshimoto doing with Tibbs?
You don't be saying nothing, bro. They be putting him in the summer league, and they have him mic'd up in the summer league, and he don't even be saying nothing there too.
Right. The young hot assistant should, if it's not Dice, then it should be Desanya Diop from the Westchester Knicks, right?
Sagana Diop.
Yeah. Sagana Diop. I remember he was a lottery pick for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I remember when he was a high schooler.
And he was a journeyman big that lasted. I went around the league.
Yeah. He couldn't put it all together.
Couldn't stay in shape either. He was just too big.
And at the same time, the NBA was transitioning away from
the plotting center.
Yeah. And so they thought because the Lakers caught lightning in the bottle with Andrew Bynum that they could find another. Teams were searching for another Andrew Bynum. The only thing about it is Andrew Bynums don't just come. Dudes 290 pounds, that explosive, don't just show up from out of nowhere. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta be fortunate that you get one.
Sagana Diop is only 43.
Yeah,
thought he was a little bit older than that.
Nah, he young, bro. Yo, and so that's why, Fritz. That's why when y'all say stuff, bro. When I say stuff and I'm like, yo, this sounds like honey in my ears. Like when y'all say stuff, I'm like, yeah, I'm a Knicks fan though, bro.
It sound good.
Yeah. Like somebody like when, for instance, when y'all were talking about the plan, what the plan was gonna be, yo, man, Landry Shamet, man. So just nah, bro. No, if you leave Tom Thibodeau to his own devices, he's going to develop Jimmy Butler instead of Tony Snell. Right? Now, in the grand scheme of things, people are going to say, well, Jimmy Butler is going to be a Hall of Famer, man. Tony Snell turned out to be, bro, when I'm saying at the time, Tony Snell was doing all the stuff Jimmy Butler can do and better, right? But Jimmy Butler had the element, the Josh Hart element of the fake dog thing, right? The fake dog thing. And Tony Snell, who had all these passing skills, all this defensive shadowing, all this 3-point, Tony Snell legitimately could have been Klay Thompson. And depending on who you are as a basketball player, you may prefer Jimmy Butler over Klay Thompson. I prefer Klay Thompson over Jimmy Butler. It depends on preferences, on what you like. Right? Fritz, who would you rather have? Prime Klay Thompson, no injuries, or prime Jimmy Butler, no injuries?
Klay. You can plug Klay anywhere. Jimmy Butler, it's heavy usage. You have to use him. He has to be everything.
What about you, Dre?
Klay.
See what I mean?
It's dependent on what your roster is, but as far as like to basically put it, there's no such thing as too much shooting and too much defense in a league. Like,
who would you rather have in an elimination game, Jimmy Butler or Klay Thompson?
Klay. Prime Klay.
Prime Klay, no injuries. Yeah.
Yeah, Klay. No dribbles. Yeah.
So these are like the small nuanced things. Like, think about what I'm telling you, man. Philly was developing Ben Simmons and Robert Covington, right? And I know people forget about Rocco, but for a minute, Rocco legit was.
Wasn't Rocco undrafted? I think he was.
Yeah, out of Tennessee State. They developed him out of the G trade. You gotta follow me, bro. They developed him out of the G League. This is what I'm saying. They developed him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm messing with you.
No. Go ahead.
Now, remember, Philly developed him, a dude named Dario Saric, and a dude named Rashawn Holmes. Y'all remember Rashawn Holmes?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Rashawn Holmes used to be their sixth center, and he constantly beat out people and moved up the depth chart. Y'all remember him?
We're gonna see Rashawn Holmes tomorrow. He plays for the Wizards.
He's still in the league, bro. He's still in the league. That's what I'm saying. The Sixers were developing Ben Simmons and Ben Simmons and Robert Covington. The Celtics were developing Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. The Raptors were developing OG Anunoby, Gary. I think it's Gary Trent might have been there too.
Gary Trent was on the Blazers at that point. Remember, that was Blazers.
Was it Norman Powell? That was it. Was it?
Yeah, yes, Powell? It was Norman. It was Norman.
Yeah, Norm Powell, and so Pascal, Normal Powell, and OG.
Remember, Norm got traded for Gary
Trent. Yeah, that's why I got him confused. That's why I got him mixed up. But the Knicks had Terrence Williams and Kevin Knox, and the thing about those,
we had Terrence Ferguson too.
Yeah, we had Terrence Ferguson also. Yeah.
I don't know if he played for us, but we had him. He had his record.
Was it Terrence Williams? What's the guy name? What's the guy that came over from Memphis with Fizdale?
From Memphis with Fizdale.
Yeah, he played at Indiana with OG. Him and OG were at Indiana together. The dude with the 46-inch vertical, not Tony Wooten, but the 6'8" dude with the 46-inch vertical out of Indiana. He was blazing fast and could jump out the gym. Huh?
Troy Williams?
I think that sound right. That sound about right. He is a 6'8".
It was Troy Williams.
The 6'8" leaper. Yeah, that's him. Yeah. Troy Williams. So the Knicks had Troy Williams, Mitchell Robinson, and Kevin Knox. And instead of developing them, they had a dude that loved to win a press conference. He was cussing Kevin Knox out in front of the camera because it made the Knicks look good in the short term. Oh, he's coaching. He's a passionate coach. He's bringing the Heat culture to the Knicks. You remember
the only thing he did right was marry that woman, because she was a nice looking woman.
Yeah, she was fine, bro. She was fine. The one thing he did wrong, though, is when he said, "You keep what you kill."
Oh my God!
And he kept giving minutes to dudes that didn't kill nothing, couldn't keep nothing, and couldn't find anything to kill. They was like lost.
And even if they had something, they couldn't cook it.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. How you gonna give Emmanuel Mudiay all this leeway, right? And Emmanuel Mudiay showed up to the Knicks at 230, 6'5", 235.
You know who also got minutes over Kevin Knox? Hezonja.
Mario Hezonja. Yep. Mario Hezonja. Yeah. And one of the things I think David Fizdale absolutely botched was Frank Ntilikina's development. Because I'm going to say some things right now, and then when you say some things from back then, but when you hear them now, you're like, oh my God, this dude was Tom Thibodeau, and we didn't know it. Back then, he said, Frank is not a traditional point guard. He's a multi-dimensional playmaker. He's not your Steve Nash. He's a Swiss Army knife on the floor. Right. And then when talking about Frank's defense, he said legitimately, Frank Ntilikina can guard all 5 positions on the floor in one single possession. You remember when he used to say that about Frank?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then that night, Frank Ntilikina blocked Karl Anthony Towns' shot off a fadeaway. Right. And then now, when you think about where the NBA is right now, if they would have developed Frank back then, I'm not saying that he would have been SGA, but he damn sure could have been Josh Hart with defense.
Yeah.
But, things are what they are, bro. My bad, Dre, for going off on a tangent, bro. I know you.
It's your show, man. I didn't have nothing to add to that at all. You was preaching.
Bro, can you imagine the Raptors developing Norman Powell, OG Anunoby, and Pascal Siakam? The Celtics are developing Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and what's the point guard they had? The big point guard,
at that time?
Yeah, at that time.
Marcus Smart?
Marcus Smart, the big thought. He was like 6'4", like 220 something.
Oh,
right?
Man.
They developing him, and the Sixers are developing Robert Covington, Ben Simmons, and Rashawn Holmes. Right? And the Knicks are like, nah, we're not gonna create a daycare. You have to keep what you kill. And here we are.
And then these players that they developed, when it was time to move off with them, they flipped them and got a haul for them.
Yeah.
Marcus Smart got traded for 2 first-round picks. Pascal went for a haul, multiple first-round picks.
Yep.
And we just prioritize the wrong people, don't get none for them, then they fade to oblivion off your team and out the league.
And the plan was, and I don't know if y'all remember this or not, too. This is just to put a rock in Dre's shoe. The plan was, if Carmelo Anthony waives his no trade clause, then we're going to get a haul for him and keep flipping it until we got a bunch of first-round picks so that we can do a rebuild from scratch, right? But you know what we got for Carmelo Anthony? Anybody remember what we got for Carmelo?
It was like nothing. Just a couple seconds. It was.
We got to do the same age as Melo and Enes Kanter.
Okay. Yeah.
We got Dougie McBuckets.
Yeah, McDermott. Yeah.
So basically, we got nothing.
We got nothing to show for that whole. The only thing we had to show for that was an actual true star talent that we traded for something, but everything else was poor management.
Yes. And then we got Enes Kanter right at the explosion of the pick and roll offense. I mean, when he was coming off the bench in OKC, that's when they
got rid of him because he couldn't play defense.
Because he couldn't defend in the pick and roll, right? Because he could defend, like he had post defense, right? But anything that called for him defending in space, kind of like Cat, he was getting roasted.
We think Cat was bad. Oh my God.
Enes Kanter was worse, bro. Enos Cancer was worse, right? Because you don't have to be a athletic dynamo. You have to be smart to be a pick and roll defender, bro. You got to be like when Robin Lopez.
You have to have anticipatory skills.
Bro, you remember how good Robin Lopez is? Robin Lopez was a top 10 pick and roll defender every year he was here. Was he here 1 year?
One,
2
yeah,
years?
he wasn't here long.
We gave him a multi-year contract, I recall.
Okay. And then we
gave
traded
him
him
we gave him something silly like 40, 50 million or something. Yeah, I feel like we did. I feel like we gave him something silly.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's the reason why when I hear smart people say stuff about the Knicks and it's well-intentioned, well thought out, like spot on, poignant in the moment, I'm like, bro, this should be a column that I can read. But then I remember we had David Fisdale trying to groom Kevin Knox.
Oh my God.
And then wonder why Kev McCullough is getting triple doubles in the G League and the big team doesn't have wing depth.
He should be up here sitting on the bench at work soaking up game from veterans, let alone playing.
Y'all said he's not eligible for the playoff roster too, right?
He's on a two-way, so he can't play.
Yeah,
unless
until he gets signed. Yeah.
Unless like for instance, if he came up and played on his two-way and played a bunch of games and played well, we could sign him to like a contract before the season is up.
Yeah. So
then he's playoff eligible. But otherwise,
don't sign PJ.
Yeah.
But we giving dudes 10 days that don't play.
Right. Right.
Like,
we
need a fake roster. We need a fake culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude came here to show off some sneakers, man.
Basically.
That man said he wanted to walk into the garden, so he took the train to the game. Like he's a fan that's getting paid to be. He's getting paid to have the best seats in the house. That's what it seems like. Not to actually be a basketball player, even though we need basketball players right now.
And hey, Fritz, I'm gonna say this. It's gonna sound OD, right? But if somehow the Knicks move on from Tom Thibodeau, right? Just somehow, and the Knicks get Brett Brown, I think the Knicks are gonna be next year's version of the Cleveland Cavaliers of this year.
Brett Brown?
Yeah. I'm just saying, I'm just saying a guy.
I will say Brett Brown took the fall on the sword. He wasn't that bad of a coach. They were outright tanking. They were outright like telling him, "Yo, play these terrible players."
You notice that that GM has not had an NBA job since.
He's blackballed out of the league.
Yeah, he blackballed out of the league, bro. Yeah,
because of that shit.
Yeah, and it wasn't even his fault. It wasn't even the ownership, bro. Do you know? People don't know how much ownership plays into the direction of a team, bro. But anyways, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here, man. Everybody, make sure y'all check out, if you're awake, check out Know the Ledge later on today. Fritz Alcindor, if he feels like getting out of his hot tub and out of his limousine, he might do a show today. Fritz, you doing a show today?
No,
are you gonna be in Hollywood?
I dropped a video yesterday, today, and probably tomorrow.
Tomorrow? You mean Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're gonna be watching. Thank you, everybody, for coming through, hanging out with us late night. Thank you to Dre for coming through. Thank you for Fritz Alcindor. Thank you to everybody in the chat that hung out with us and everything, and had this very disturbing and emotional roller coaster conversation. Fellas, y'all got something before we get out of here?
Subscribe to the NBA Economy Show and subscribe to this channel as well.
Subscribe to the channel. Yo, in our conversations, I'm trying to get the conversation to be more enlightening, everybody, so we can talk about the events as they happened, so you know why we feel the way that we feel.
Yeah.
Right. All right, everybody. I'm gonna get out of here, y'all.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Yep.